Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20+ years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
This is GM truck radiator install, part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, definitely suggest you watch that first, and this will make more sense. Okay, so now I've got the area all cleared out. Get the lines back and all the lines out of the way. Okay, these are the rubber mounts where it sits down onto, so just make sure those are in good shape. Just one thing in looking at the radiator, these here correspond to these, and it looks like new radiator came with some adapters, so I'm actually going to pull those out. Those are probably for an earlier vehicle or something like that. Drop it in slowly. It's going to catch on one hose here. It's down and in. Make sure it's right in its mounts here. Okay, I'm just going to thread this on. Okay. Okay, over here on my engine oil cooler lines. There's my top one. Threads right in nicely. A little light anyways. Threads right in. So here's my top hose. Goes right on. I'll put that clamp on. Okay. Okay. So basically what you can see is I've got my hose on and I've got the clamp up at a position where you can get to it. And now really the last thing is to take this oil cooler line, which goes back up and around here. Oops. Okay, and thread that in. Okay, so got this clamp on. I'll tighten this up. I'll tighten this one up. I'll put my line on from the radiator bottle, which is right here. Okay, and got to find that clamp that just fell off. And then I'll tighten this up. I'll tighten that up. I'll make sure my peacock is all on and tight. And then I'll fill it up with some fluid and make sure it's holding water, and then start it up. Okay, so I've got the new radiator in. I've got my upper transmission line tight, lower transmission line tight. That clamp is on. Top clamp is on. Oil cooler line's tight, and my lower oil cooler line is tight. Okay, now a word on tightening those. You don't have to get them crazy tight. They actually have O-rings, so you don't want to tighten up too much or you'll just ruin the O-ring. That's that. Now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it up with fluid, and obviously while we're filling it up, we're just listening, making sure that we'll try and get it all in there and make sure that no antifreeze is dripping anywhere. Then we'll get this lower radiator shroud back in place and start it up and warm it up and make sure nothing's leaking. Check the oil, check the transmission fluid. Then I'll actually road test it, make sure it gets nice and hot. And then once it's all set there, then I'll put the shroud back together and the pan underneath. And also I'll clean up, kind of clean up the garage here, because although you try and catch everything, some of it gets away. Okay, so the antifreeze, you know, we're not recommending any kind or another. We have used Prestone for quite a while. It will say pre-mixed on it, and if it does not say pre-mixed, you want to basically make a mix of half water and half antifreeze. Obviously, if your coolant says pre-mixed, you don't mix it with any water. Okay, so here we go. We've got fluid in there, and you know, that's about as full as we need to get. The rest of it we can put into the coolant bottle. Our lower radiator shroud is in place, not held in place yet, but it's not interfering with the fan. So we're going to start it up. Okay, so radiator's in. Okay, we've got oil pressure, that's important. I'm going to back it up a little bit so I can clean up the mess I've made in the garage. Okay. So you see everything's spinning. Here's our mess. Right now, it's a little drip right there, but I think that's just some residual stuff. We'll check it out. But it looks good. I'll let it run for a while. Okay, so I just took it out on a little test drive, and it's up to operating temperature. I don't think the pressure's up yet. There's no real leaks. There's a couple of drops there, which I think is just still a little bit of, you know, spill from when I took the radiator in and out. You know, looking up and down the tank, I don't really see anything. Maybe this is leaking a little bit. No, I think that's just, there's just some water on here from when I filled it. So it looks like it's pretty good. Okay, so we've got everything back together. Routing this harness right up through here. Put the pin back in. Everything back down in. We've got our 7 bolts all tightened up. We did the 2 bolts underneath on the bottom of the shroud, and the skid plate with its 4 bolts. Took it for a test drive. Nothing's leaking underneath anymore. It all looks good. What I suggest is plan a couple of trips around town. You know, short, make sure the car warms up, gets to 200 degrees, and you know, park it, check it, make sure there's nothing dripping, and then go from there. And be sure to check out oneauto.com. That's where you can get this radiator that fit right in. Everything fit perfectly, bolted right up, no problems.
Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393, the company that's here for you on the internet and in person. Thank you.